All right. Hello. Welcome again to the Culinary Business Network presented by Feed the Soul Foundation, the only network where you can connect, learn, and grow all at your fingertips. You can connect with like minded individuals, industry experts, and grow your business all at your fingertips. I'm your host, Karina Fernandez, Program Director of Feed the Soul Foundation. And today we want to welcome you again to our fourth Mastermind session. In this session, it's going to be packed with strategies and gems for any culinary entrepreneur that is thinking about making those big moves and bold partnerships. We are thrilled to be joined by Miss Kristen Smith, CXO, and we'll get to what the CXO means, and co-owner of Tre Street Food Kitchen. I'm sorry, Tre Street Kitchen, which is a fast growing, award winning food service company based in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And they have actually mastered the art of flavor, flexibility, and fearless expansion. And we'll get into that. Kristen and her husband, let me put this picture up on the screen for you all because this is our woman of the day. Kristen and her husband, Chef Tremaine Devine, launched their business literally in the middle of the pandemic. And since then, they've grown literally from a food truck to a multi-revenue powerhouse, landing contracts with universities, stadiums, and corporate partners. And who doesn't want to do that, right? And even manufacturing their own line of sauces. They've also earned national recognition from the NFL 59 Super Bowl program, Kraft Heinz, Amazon, the Urban League of Louisiana, the Baton Rouge Business Report, Airmark, which is a global food service company. And they just found out that they were chosen as semifinalists for Pharrell's 2025 Black Ambition Grant. And Kristen's culinary journey, of course, actually begins as a top-rated Yelp curator, where her talent from discovering culinary gems evolved into a career in experience, design, and strategic operations. Today, Kristen leads with vision and precision, delivering, memorable dining experiences for guests and corporate clients alike. She now gets to blend her project management expertise with deep rooted passion for food and hospitality. Kristen is here to share her journey and how she secured those coveted university dining contracts, and how you can also leverage diverse revenue streams in your business. So I'm going to bring Kristen up on stage. Help me welcome Kristen. Here you are. Let me remove this. There we go. And also, okay, so fun fact, she is also one of our restaurant business development program grant winners of 2024. And so, again, welcome one of my other favorite people, Kristen Smith. Thank you for being here.
I'm glad to be here with you, Karina. Hello, everyone.
And so tell us, because we love to learn about, everyone has a very interesting story of how they started in the food industry and what has kept them here. And so tell us a little bit about you and your journey in the food industry. Besides being a Yelp creator, or yeah, talk to us about this Yelp thing. This is amazing. Oh, and also tell us, what is CXO?
Awesome. Well, I would say my food journey started. I mean, I'm born from Baton Rouge. We love to eat. We love to cook really good food. And so I would say growing up, I was always interested in what my grandmother was cooking, her home style dishes. Although I wasn't the one that was able to cook, I loved to consume and eat. And so when I became a teacher, as anyone knows, like it's very stressful. I came
Right.
back from Illinois to Louisiana to teach high school students with Teach for America. And so you have limited time to really release. And food was my outlet. And so I was getting known for doing Yelp reviews and then earned my way to get a Yelp Elite badge. So then I was the person known to go to the new grand openings and write a review. But it was also a space of connectivity, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I love being the friend that when they were coming to Louisiana or going to a state or a city that I had never been in, I could tell them the top 10 places to eat or go find this unique dessert, one of a kind, all before Instagram really blew up. Is that place,
Right.
you know, the platform where you have to like record your food. And so when we ended up launching the business, I transferred those skills over into my role. And when I was thinking about, okay, what role will I take? A new trade, like CEO, you handle that. I'm all about the experience because I
Mm-hmm.
know what motivates me to go spend money at a place is all about the experience. So I began thinking about the end user experience. Like, how did I want customers to feel? What did I
Right.
want them to say? What would I want them to write about our place? And then I just backwards design how we wanted the culture of Tre Street Kitchen. So I said, I didn't know the exact term. I started researching, and then I seen a lot of tech companies were using CXO, and I said, why not? Like, this is our own company. I'm just gonna put myself as the chief experience officer. And every time when people would see it on the shirt, they're like, "What is that?" And I said, "You know, I'm all about the vibes. I'm
Oh, nice.
so if you like the energy and experience that Trey's is offering, I'm the one who helps co-lead that design experience. So I love it. I think I'm going to promote myself to like COO soon, but for now, forever chief experience officer.
But yeah, but that's definitely a what's it called? A conversation starter, right? Like what is CXO? And then you can really um provide that feedback to them and telling them like we're all about the experience for you. That's really cool. Another question: do you get paid for being a Yelp Elite?
You do not get paid,
Okay,
but
I was gonna
you
say.
you get invited to a lot of exclusive places, and then you eat for free, of course, and then you get to meet some amazing people. So you don't get paid, but you really do enjoy it. And I still get reminders from reviews I wrote 10 years ago that this is like your
Wow.
review is being featured. I'm like, this is before Chat GPT. This is awesome. And so I hold it dear to my heart because once you open a restaurant, you can no longer be a Yelp elite. So I gave up my
Oh, you gave
yeah,
up
you
the
know,
tongue.
compliment. It's funny.
That is so and then do you get to connect with other Yelp elitists?
Yes, it's a whole community of like Yelp elite
Oh.
people. You have your specific badge. You're invited into like alternative groups, and then you get to meet those people and be friends with them. I still have connections from 10 plus years ago, and we'll see each other at certain events. And some of them have also went on to launch companies, and I've been able to support their companies as well. So that's been a good
That
experience.
and have they come back to you and done reviews?
Interesting enough, before you asked this question, I forgot. Like our first like experience that helped us get recognition was a Yelp event. So
Oh,
my former like director, Rebecca, shout out to her. She moved to Virginia a couple years ago. She was like, Kristen, you're opening, like, why not host a Yelp event? And we're gonna come. And so then it was my turn in the hot seat, right? So
yep,
I had
yep.
all these Yelp elites that some I knew, some I didn't, and they came in and they rated us. And so it was an awesome experience because it helped us build up in the algorithm and get some
Mm,
feedback and exposure. And because we did it so soon, maybe I think within 2 months of opening, that helped spread the word of mouth because people trust Yelp reviewers.
right. Right. And that's a great idea is to host a, like a Yelp event if you're new opening your doors or even if you've been, in business for a while. I think you hit it on the head is getting, some Yelpers out, especially those elitists.
The elites.
Um those elites. So I'm gonna put something on the screen because I want to show everyone. Oops, let me not that one. I'm going to do this one. Let's do this one. Okay. So, who is this? And what is this? We know that you and your husband started Tre's Kitchen literally in the middle of the pandemic. And what, how, when, why did this happen?
So that is my dear husband, Tre. And then the pandemic, wow. To be honest, we had already, like, he was executive chef of a fine dining restaurant here in Baton Rouge. And
Okay.
some of his customers, the regulars, were really pushing him, like, you know what, if you opened up something, I'd be there every day. Like, we really love your food. And so we had started saving 2019, actually, I would say the tail end of 2018 to 2019, early 2020, we were saving money with the idea that by June 2020, there was a place in a plaza nearby where we lived, and we said we were going to just open up. No business plan, no thought of a name or anything, but we knew we were saving for a larger purpose. And so
Right.
friends and family knew that this was always a desire to open up a place. And then when the pandemic hit, it kind of really jolted us of like, no one's eating inside. Tre was laid off
Right.
for about 2 weeks. I worked in a school, so then I was really working from home. And the opportunity just to sit still really helped us remember, like, what was our goal? It's still our goal, but maybe there's a different path to getting there. And so one of our family members called us. I don't know. I just say it's a moment of faith, where they called and said, the time is now. And they live in Atlanta, so they always are like thinking of some great faster thing to do. They're like, why not? Why not now? And so they gave us some initial like blessing seed money to say, hey, you
Oh,
should think
wonderful.
about a food truck, because we have lots of food trucks in our city and they're still open while restaurants are closed. And so we drove to Atlanta, met with family, they prayed with us, they encouraged us, and then we went searching for a food truck. And we ended up
Mm.
finding a Ukrainian dealer. He was good making food trucks and like building them out, but he was located in like Canton, Ohio. And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
goodness.
yes. And I was like, wait, like, we don't know this person. We don't know anyone in the area again, but leaning on faith, we drove about 13 hours, saw the food truck, handed over $20,000 with the hope that we're coming back tomorrow. Are you sure it's gonna be here? Like, clutching my pearls. And so we came back the next morning. The truck was there, ready to go, and we pulled out. Tre drove that food truck, and I still laugh until this moment because I was in the car behind him, and the hub caps were falling off, and
Oh my, no.
the truck I think killed maybe twice. And I said, "No, we got to take this back. This is a lemon." And he's like, "No, it's diesel. It takes time to." I don't know anything about diesel, so it takes time. And so we drove back to Baton Rouge, and from there we just started building this truck and learning as we went. It took about 5 months to get operational, but we really stepped out on faith in the middle of the pandemic because our original plans had shifted, but our end goal still was the same. We knew that we had to do what we had to do with what we have so that we can
Right.
get to our ultimate goal of like service every day, having space outside of the food truck.
So was the wrap already done, or you guys had to? What was inside the truck? Was
It
it?
was it was an orange truck with like your primary equipment, but it didn't have
Got
like
it.
your cooler, didn't have the fridge, didn't have any of that. But we came back and we just designed it ourselves. Honestly, we knew that we wanted people to know that we had house-made sauces. We were thinking like, what do we want to offer people?
Right.
And so we're like, just put it at the top so people can see house-made sauces, house-cut
Oh,
fries.
right. Right.
Yeah, they were like, well, we got to show them how to contact us. So what better than we cater with the
I,
phone number on the side so they can call us. And
yes,
so
I
we
see
found
that it says house-made sauces, and then it
yes,
says hand
hand
out.
cut fries.
Oh,
We
hand
wanted
cut
people to know,
fries.
yeah, we
Oh,
were popping the fries by hand. And so we're like, okay, hashtag Tre Street Kitchen, and then put the logo in the center. So we sent it over to think it's like Vista Wrap or something. One of those
Oh,
companies,
yeah.
you just tell them what you want, and then it took them about 2 days to wrap it. And then we had contacts that said, hey, set up outside my smoke shop. So we were originally in front of like your Handy Mart, your food marts, and people just start coming, and
Right.
they just stop coming.
So I'm gonna put your website on the on the screen because this burger is massive. And is this one of your top sellers?
That is our signature item called the street burger. It's actually the first item that was on Tre's original, like, every chef has their notepad. And so we knew we had a grand opening coming up. And I'm like, Tre, what's on the menu? Like, everybody knows we have a food truck. We told everybody to come. What are we serving? Kid you, Karina, like, this is what I deal with, right? It's the vision. I went to bed, like, I'm going to bed. Tomorrow's gonna be a long day. I woke up to a menu of like 5 to 7 items, and those items are still what we serve today. But the first item, he came up with the name Street Burger with his street sauce on it. So when
Got
I
it.
tell people like that is how we were able to get known or in our community, it's because of the street sauce that was on our street burger. So it's forever our
Um,
signature house item that everyone who originally would say, Tre, I used to come here, I used to come here. They know from having the street burger or the street fries that had the steak on it with the signature street sauce on it. So we started with the vision of what's behind the meals because we
right.
knew being crafted was something that was like really dear to our heart as him being a chef. And for me, going to places that had love behind the food, we wanted
Right.
to do it in a way that was affordable, but like giving a little bit of more elevated experience, whether you're coming on a food truck or not. We wanted you to feel like you had a good hearty meal.
Meal. Right. Right. And then from the food truck, how long did it take you to, I mean, of course, just launching alone in a risky time is a challenge. And but what gave you the confidence to say, we're going to do this now? Like, I know you had, your family in Atlanta, you guys really strategized on finding the food truck. Was there anything else that really gave you the confidence to launch during that time too?
Well, between the two of us, they say two minds are better than one. I'm more on the pessimistic side. Tre is already in 2030 and I'm in 2025. Like, okay, how do we wrap up Q3, then get ready for Q4? So I was a scary one. I was the last one standing where I say my whole family kind of wrapped their arms around me and was just pushed me to like say it's okay to fail, right? Like I was so used to I'm teaching students the importance of having an education and going out and launching your goals. And then I did leadership development for several years. So I'm behind the scenes. I'm used to being the coach. When you
Right.
have to be pushed out front to sell things, and I was like terrified of like, oh no, like I want to be behind the scenes. But
Right.
having a partner like Tre really like changed my perspective and seeing like his drive, and then my family support, and then just a lot of prayer of like, okay, Kristen, what is stopping you? And it was fear of failure, fear of the pandemic, right? We're born in a time where we're pivoting each day with each policies that are coming down, how consumers are spending money. So it's a constant pivot. But looking
Right.
back, I feel blessed by it because now we know the essence of the pivot because we were essentially born in a time where the world had to pivot. But Karina,
Right.
I'm not afraid to tell anybody I was very terrified, but I had to sit still, lean on my faith, and really address like what is so scary? Why are
Right.
you afraid? And it was just afraid to fail.
Mhm. But you didn't fail.
I
You
did not.
you didn't fail, and you actually exceeded a lot of those expectations. And I'm just gonna put this on. It's your website again, and I love how you really amplify. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna go back to this page because it shows the extent of your reach. A lot of people think like, oh, I'm a food truck, I'm just going to stay a food truck, without really thinking about other ways that your food truck can make you more money, right? Not just sitting on the side of the road. If you want to sit on the side of the road, that's great, but you have so many other opportunities, and you are proving that there are other opportunities for mobile vendors. And you went into universities. Your first university was LSU. So talk to us, and that's why we're here, right? We're here to talk about ways that you can win big with not only university contracts, but also being in stadiums, and what that really looks like, and how you did it. So for those that are unfamiliar, can you break down what university food service contract looks like, and kind of how it's structured? I'm also going to put on the screen another photo of your concession stand. Oh, is it would you call it a concession, or in universities, what are they
So
called? They're
this one
just
is considered a permanent retail concept.
got
So
it.
yeah.
And this
So
one is in LSU, correct?
this is the one that will open inside LSU Student Union in about 2.5 weeks.
Okay, so then let me go back to the other one. Is it this one? Which one was your first one?
So our first university contract was with LSU Athletics and then Airmark Sports and Entertainment. So there we have a concession stand inside of Tiger Stadium for all of football season.
This one.
Yes. So
Okay,
that's considered our concession stand.
got it. Okay, so let me go back to universities. Which well, we can, this one.
Yes.
This is one of the university contracts that you have, and this one is Baton Rouge.
That's Baton Rouge Community College.
Got it. So talk to us about how you got into this first.
Okay, so this one was it was something that was on our radar because one of the things that a lot of street food vendors in our area struggle with is access to a commissary kitchen. We don't have a lot of shared commercial space. And so we knew that we were growing out of space because we needed, like, you can say no for so long, but then your customers are depending on you, they're calling you, and you realize you're missing out on money. So we went to our local economic leaders and we were like, what are you all doing? We need more shared commissary space because when we go to New Orleans, there's about 5 to 7 that we can choose from on any given day. And so
Right.
you'll hear, oh, we were working on turning this economic center into a commissary kitchen, but that's going to be years down the road. And then they were like, well, BRCC hasn't had a food vendor in like 2 years. Let's kind of see what they're doing. And so thankfully, thanks to good relationships, we had met with one of the representatives from the Baton Rouge area chamber. We told our story, and then I would say over the course of a few months, he picked up the phone on our behalf and said, hey, like, these guys are doing X, Y, and Z. You don't have a vendor. Students need food. Would you consider having a conversation? And so we had a conversation with the institutional leaders. We talked about our brand, what we would want to offer, how we would have a partnership. And then from there, it turned into a cooperative agreement where we were able to have a good partnership on this may normally cost X, Y, and Z to be here. But because you are here with the service of students, we can kind of meet in the middle and you'll have access to this commercial kitchen. You can operate out of the cafe and manage it. And you also have the option to do business in the back of the kitchen. So it was a win-win for us to spread out and do good with this university and take on the mantle of being the prime contractor for an institution while also being able to accelerate future contracts. And so that is when I believe we were able to show scale because we didn't have a third party in between.
Right.
We're the direct prime contractor working
Right.
directly with institutions.
So what I heard is to break down how you even started the conversation or even thinking about a university service contract is your partnerships were one of the most important things. The fact that you were able to talk to someone from a chamber, then get connected to someone that person would advocate for you on your behalf to a university. And then from there, of course, your food speaks for itself. The things that you were doing spoke for themselves. And then you said something important, that you were actually the prime. So you submitted a proposal to them as a prime, and then did other people bid for this, or how did that happen?
I believe prior to our conversation, they had like released a few bids, but because this was not like an open bid, it was more so we were able to showcase our proposal, do a sample tasting, have a series of meetings, and then go in under a cooperative agreement, which is a little bit of a difference than your normal RFP or RFQ. And so it was more of like a partnership. Which is a little bit different, but it allowed us to come in good faith on both ends of like, we're doing this for the greater good to provide access to food for students on your campus.
Got it. Understood. And then how did you, so Baton Rouge was the first one. And then how did you secure the LSU, that contract?
So we had a food truck contract with them where we were able to come for like supplemental dining services. So let's say Welcome Week is a big opportunity for food truck vendors where they will hire companies to provide 1,000 samples of food, or Carnival Week. And so we were getting those opportunities, and then we were on their catering platform, and we would get hired for like MLK days and things like that. And so students would be like, why aren't y'all here? And we would say, hey, we would love to be here. Like, it's not that we don't want to. And so doing what we did while being a food truck, showing up on time, providing high quality meals, engaging with students, engaging with faculty, engaging with staff, but also declaring that we see ourselves here really helped open up the door. Because sometimes people will go and do something, but if you're not vocalizing that you would like to do something, you can't sit back and say, well, they should see this vision for me. And so then we started getting more calls, and then we knew that there was an opening to have our food truck 5 days a week. And so this is also a scenario that we had to learn of. Sometimes you have to say no, because when we got that opportunity to come 5 days a week at LSU last year, we were also opening at BRCC. Knowing that this is our first time being a prime, like we have to work directly with the institution, we were at max capacity and we had to say no. And that's a risk, right? And so it was on us to kind of keep that relationship going of like, we're scaling here, we still want to be there. And so anytime they would call, we showed up, and we just kept proving ourselves, saying, hey, you got openings. And then we actually got the call, I believe, which is funny. Everything's funny right now. I don't know. Might be the call. In April, I had a reporter reach out by email saying, hey, I'm a reporter. I work with the Advocate on restaurant openings, and I want you to tell me about your restaurant opening near LSU.
Right.
We're not opening
open.
Brick and mortar. We're not doing anything. I said, we do work with LSU, and we'll be, there with the food truck. And she asked, okay, how often do you work there? And then that was the end of that conversation. And I remember sharing it. I said, someone's applying pressure, but I promise you all, it's a lot. We're not there yet. And then a month later, we got the call saying, hey, we have 2 spots for you on campus. We need your food truck 5 days a week, but we also have a space for you inside. And it was just a moment of like, wow, like you can be on someone's vision board and not know it, but you gotta be ready to accept the call. And so we got that call around May, and all summer we've been planning, gearing up for the opportunity, because to have this contract with Chartwell's and Aramark is a big deal. These are global food service giants, and to be able to be a local family-owned company without any VC capital, traditional lending, savings, it's a big deal, and we don't take it lightly at all.
And then also having to staff all of this.
Yes.
So for the co-op, did they staff it for you, or you have to staff it?
So for BRCC, we staff, and then now with LSU, we'll be able to share some staff that'll be downstairs, but we still have to, staff our servers. And then of course, Tre, he's going to be hands-on the first month. Like this is, training, making sure that the recipes are at scale and everything is great, but it is helpful to have additional support when it comes to labor in this partnership. That's one thing to consider. And I also am establishing relationships with the Louisiana Workforce Commission so that we can start to get rebates on hiring. And so we had to hit 15 employees. We're going to hit that number this year, and we should start seeing our money come back to us. So we can save, because labor is one of the top expenses for our industry.
Right. Then I had another question. Do the universities pay you like something, because they're saying I need you 5 days a week, right? How are you guaranteed that you're going to be making the money that you can make profit and still operate as a business? Or do you rely on the students to, and then the pricing too? Do you do a special pricing for students, understanding that students don't make money, and so they have limited funds themselves? And so talk to us a little bit about that type of operational structure as well.
So there's two ways you can make money, whether it's food truck, catering, or whatnot, when working with institutions. They have a lot of student organizations and events, campus catering for their meetings, where you're going to get your services paid in full based on whatever service you're providing, whether that's, hey, we need 1,000 orders of hamburgers because we're having carnival. That you're going to get paid that $1,000. You're not going to get any fees taken out of it or anything. So that's one way to kind of work your way up in the system. Now, when it comes to the 5 days a week and being operational, we have an agreement where they take a percentage, around like 15 or 20%. And then from there, it is on us to keep the quality and utilize marketing to draw in our customers. But the one advantage we have with working with institutions, especially the larger 4-year institutions, students have meal cards. And so when you work as a manager, you can get that equivalency, because students want more options than outside of the traditional dining hall. So when they can use their meal swipes with you, I can go to the dining hall, or I can maybe get something like a cheap meal or something else from Tre's today, and I can swipe my card. So that is one big thing for it. And it's less overhead when you think about it. Like, okay, I don't have to pay rent. I'm not opening up my own standalone where I have to draw people in. No, this is a partnership. So we can utilize the institution's marketing strategy and work with students to draw people in, but also, it's you're able to use your meal swipes, which, being a former college student that remembered saving half of her Chipotle burrito, that is because I would have swiped my meal card at Chipotle quite a few times back in 2010. Yeah.
So it's like it's a win-win for you, especially with these universities. The fact that, like you said, you're leveraging their marketing, you're leveraging their space and their natural foot traffic, which may guarantee those sales for you. No, I absolutely love that. And when because we went into all these questions already. Okay, so what were some of the challenges you faced entering some of these spaces in terms of like compliance and scale? You kind of touched on the operational side, but how did you navigate some of these compliance issues or scaling issues? Did you even have any? Is the next question, right?
Yeah. So the number one thing that I think I had was sticker shock. When you get the opportunity, especially when we were just doing a food truck, and you get those insurance requirements, I'm like, Louisiana is known to have high insurance rates anyway, but some institutions require the $1 million, and then some require $5 million.
Oh
Yeah, so there's a difference of like, okay, $1 million versus 5 million. And so we spent a lot of time carrying insurance to be ready. I would say about 3, 4 months before we even had that opportunity, because once we were able to do one event, we didn't just scale down because, what if they call, next week. And so that's another thing to consider. Like, you have to have insurance, and insurance, depending on where you live, it may be more costly. It may not
Right.
be, but these institutions, you must have insurance. You must have workers' comp. That was another thing that I wasn't prepared, didn't know a lot about until you get that contract and you're like, well, you must carry workers' comp as well. So that was one thing. And then having your certifications. One thing that we did do well was, I'm a former researcher. I'm like, what is it that people have that helps them get into the door? And, during 2020, certifications were all the rage. Like, you had people telling you, get certified, get certified.
Get
So
your MBE, get your MEE, get your
all
W.
of
Yeah.
And so by when we hit the 2-year mark, I said, game on. I'm getting DBE because that is something we want to do for contracts. I ended up getting the MBE for us. And then we also have the WBE recently. And now want to get 8A so I can move up in federal contracting. So having certifications is a big deal. We recently had a pitch meeting, and they were excited because they said, well, when people come before us, they don't have their packaging, and then usually they're not certified. You all have, you're making it easy and like making it more efficient to get ready to onboard as a supplier. So I tell people, you hear a lot about D&I and whatnot. No, people are still asking, do you have certification? So whatever certifications are relevant in your area, whether you have your locals, like we have Hudson Initiative here, or you need your national ones, people are paying attention. Corporations are paying attention to that. And then I would say the third is just operations, right? When you're a food truck, you can come in, you can go in there, you can, your customers, your regulars, you can open, you can close, you can move down the street if you want. But moving outside of just one unit and expecting the quality to stay the same required us to really step back and enroll in programs like Feed the Soul to say, we can't do this and the way we want to do it, the way we're doing it. Like, we have to codify the Tre Street Kitchen way and create our internal playbook to keep what's important to us. Like, we really care about our business. We care about our food. We care about our people. And you have to take the time to codify your way. What is Kristen's way of customer service? I had to write it down. What do I do that I would want someone else to do so I can slowly and gradually like move on so we can pursue more contracts? So I tell people now, if you see yourself doing more, if you see yourself, even if it's launching the food truck and you are starting day one at planning and writing the vision down, write down what you do. Write down what you plan to do. And then you can always go back and edit and change along the way because it's a living document. But don't say you're starting, I had people say, y'all starting a little food truck. It was big to us. It's still big to us as our baby. And if I could do what I did now, what I'm doing now, I would have codified a lot of things early on while we had more time to do it. So I tell people, no matter where you're starting, write down what you do. Write down what you do.
And you're talking about SOPs, right? Like standard
Yes,
operating procedures.
SOPs, standard operating procedures. I plainly say like your playbook of what you do and how you do it well, so you can imagine one day someone else delivering the same quality of service that you give to your clients.
Right. And this is impressive. Like I mean, this is a testament to that mentality of, I mean, there's more. It keeps going. It keeps going. These are all your certifications, correct?
Yes, I'm due for some updates in about a week, but what's missing here is our WeBank certification. That's the new one. Just got certified last month. And we have 8A that's pending. So I'm hoping the next 3 to 4 months we'll have that. But this is how we started with the DBE, MBE, and people pay attention and they ask for it. And because we had the MBE, we were able to become the NFL suppliers. That was one of the requirements, is that you had to have your MBE certification.
So I love that you brought that up, because we do get questions, and we do have trainings for these certifications and what you need and how to even begin. Yes, it does take time, but Kristen is a testament that if you make the investment in your business, in yourself, to even get certified, these are very lucrative opportunities for you. They're a food truck. Y'all, they're a food truck that is now in stadiums and universities. If they can do it, trust me, there is a way that you can do it as well. And again, a testament to you and your work, of delivering those experiences. I mean, these are all your corporate partners as well. And so we want to see everyone have similar goals as this, as well as putting it. And you did something brilliant as well. Putting this on your website is brilliant, because this shows other corporate potential partnerships and partners that you mean business, and they want to see their logo on your website as well. And so that was one thing that I really wanted to point out too, is leverage your website. Make that that is a sale opportunity or a potential partnership opportunity as well for everyone. So I'm going to go back to something, because I wanted you to talk about scaling, because it is a little scary, right? Once you get to this point, and how do you even prepare for something like this? Um, this looks overwhelming, right? This looks scary, but there's ways that you can streamline a lot of the worry and a lot of the stress, both for your front of house and back of house. Talk to us about being in a stadium, right? And what are those little tips that you can offer those that want to get into stadiums? Do you change your menu? Do you offer different things? How do you compete with others that are there? What strategies did you all kind of really sit down and think about when you're kind of growing this way, and thinking about scaling to this capacity of stadiums? Because that's a lot of people.
So a lot of people, it's also one of my favorite times of the year. I love the madness and the chaos that comes with it. But when we were presented the opportunity, one of the things we were thinking about, of like, we were already known on the food truck as like having expedited service. And so
Okay.
then we're like, okay, how do we keep the speed at scale? And so we made sure that we walked the stadium. We went to see like who's on the same floor as us. And then we imagine when we were at concession stands, like, what did we like? What didn't we like? Did it take us too long to get back to our seat? And so we knew we couldn't offer an array of items, because most of our items that are like the street burger, of course, that's multiple steps. We can't offer those things, but you have to condense your menu because you have limited space. And then again, food waste is real. If you have a lot of food you have to take home after a game, because you have to think about the other factors of like foot traffic. So I always say, talk to your partners. We made sure we called the general manager and said, well, how did the stand do last time? Whoever was in here last year, what was the foot traffic? What were the sales? And so they'll always give you a cautionary tale of like, this is what they did, but they may have served X, Y, and Z, but it gave us at least a baseline. And so we were like, if we have that baseline, then we know we want to draw in even more customers. How many people do we need to serve in an hour to get to where we need to be? If you tell me 1,000 people can come through within the next hour, like, we need to be prepared to like move and shake. And so we made sure that we condensed the menu to popular items that we had like crossover. Make sure that we kept our signature sauce as some of the featured items. So we do the birria nachos, that's very popular. We have it, and it comes with the pickled red onion and cilantro and a house-made queso. We pride ourselves as being one of the only vendors inside that is still having home cooked meals, and you're getting it quick and fast. And so we narrowed down on like what's going to be popular by keeping your traditional concessions classics, like your traditional hot dog.
Right.
And then we're going to probably do peanuts and stuff like based on what people ask us. But you really have to go in with a research mindset of saying, what has been, what are the opportunities right now? And then how do I do it well? Because on our same quarter, we have like a Papa John's and all these other companies. And so we want to have good food and we wanted people not to be getting angry in line. And then we also sell beer, right? And we're in the
Oh,
student section. Student section, you have the craziness. You also have beer where you have to have compliance and making sure that your staff knows to check IDs because I mean you're
mm,
and
right.
so we made sure that we staffed up. And one of the reasons why we had to staff by getting temp staff the first year is because we had maybe a 6-week window when we found out we were selected. And so 6 weeks is not a lot of time to
Oh,
like
time.
vet people. So we're like, how do you all hire people? And so they told us, like, they gave us a list of 5 to 6 temp agencies, and it worked out well for us. The supplemental, like the people we had, our core, and then we
Right.
would hire 2 to 3 people from the temp service,
Yeah.
which of
Yeah.
course they charge a little bit, but
More.
again,
Yep.
to
Yep.
get to
But
that
time,
person.
time and availability.
So talk to your partners, like they are there. It's a partnership. Like you, it's not just a contract. I don't see it as a transactional. Like we're here to win together. You want to
Mm,
make money. We want to make money. We want to stay here. Tell me what I need to know. And then if they can't tell me, I'm gonna go do some research and see and talk to other vendors. I have a good relationship with another vendor who had been there 2 years prior selling lemonade, and she gave me the rundown on like this is what you need to expect. And we were out the gate ready, and we're still known. We're going into 4 years now as like one of the fastest stands, and on that's what we want you. We want you to bypass everywhere else. So it's, even
right.
if you're getting a drink, because you know you got to move the line. I've heard people
Right.
say fast like Chick-fil-A. I take pride in that. I take pride because that means they're paying attention to our quality of service, and that's real time feedback. So I would say you have to be efficient. You have to lay out your prep. Like we stack our nachos
I
and
was about to ask you that exact same question. What do you do to prep for large scale events like this? Because that affects you too, right? That affects your speed, your staff, your profitability. What do you do to really prep for that?
you have to be organized. Of course, like your first game, like if this is your very first time, depending on like okay, LSU, they're fan crazy, right? We love
Yes.
football. It's a football, they're known for all of that. But I know now certain games, like I
Yeah.
would know if it's a sold out game, and then whether it's an Alabama or it's another college, you're gonna have a whole different fan experience, whether you're gonna have more families or you're gonna have like just a lot of true fans. So like knowing your customer base is important, but also knowing to be ready, right? So
Right.
I'm not the culinary expert that would be here, but like Tre would know, like this is how many pans I'm expected to sell. I need to have this on hand, but my staff needs to be organized because you're in a tight
Mm,
stand and you have to move like this to get what you need in and
yep.
out the door. It's loud, it's crazy. You can't be reaching over people here to get
Right.
the red onions. It has to be an assembly line, and we
So
have to communicate
that's
from
what
the
I was going to ask you next. So last week we talked to a food truck expert, right? And he told us, well, he showed us 5 ways to boost sales during these large events, right? And it's how you design your space, right?
Mhm.
And then another one was using, technology and leveraging the technology systems that your front of house and your back of house have, that clear line of communication. And then you touched on, the simplified menu, and then your staffing. So you literally are doing all of those 5 things, which again is a testament to why you've been so successful. But talk to me about that design. Do you get to design your space? Do you get to move things around? In especially in stadiums, are you allowed to do some of that so that
I
you are more efficient?
I should have sent you a time lapse video. We have a time lapse of us moving in sync for the course of like 3 to 4 hours, which is like a really cool visual. I sent it to you just for GP. But we're able to design the front, right, with our own branded logo. The rest is pretty like a standard concession stand. You got your drywall. It's not that fantastic, but when you get inside, you can move your stuff around and make it yours. Like, we're down to where the towels are in one designated area. So if you need it, you can reach it. Your phones have to be in this designated area so no one's tripping and falling. So we try to maximize space where no one is running over each other, because then, it's high stakes. People can get frustrated no matter how exciting people are. If you have someone stepping on your shoe every 5 seconds, we don't need that drama. So we try to make it we make sure that we're there. Like, a lot of times it seems hectic, but you do get load in time. So think about 3 hours before the gate even opens. We're already there, stacking the stands, making sure we go through the list. We have a checklist, a waste log, and we're able to do our countdown inventory. We're able to talk to our staff. We're able to feed our staff, and we have a pre-game meeting. So we again reiterate, like, boost up morale, but also like, this is how we're gonna run it. You're gonna be at this station, you're at this station, you're in the front. If you need a bathroom break, just tap us in. So we try to make sure that they see that we're hands-on, or whoever's the captain of that stand is very hands-on, but it's all about efficiency. And we tell them we are local doing big business. We're all breaking barriers. We're all breaking history. This is important. The service you provide is important. You love when the fans give you tips. They're going to give you tips based on their quality of service. So we have to invest them, because it is labor intensive work of high impact games. You're seeing 1,000+ people in a quick way. And the line is down the ramp. People can get overwhelmed seeing that line, but me, I love it, because I know that it's gonna move quickly. I love it.
I know there's a lot of people that thrive off of chaos, right? And that's in their element. And yeah, it's fascinating to see. But kudos to you for implementing a lot of the strategies that we taught last week. Is literally what you're talking about right now. And I wanted to point something else out, because again, you said something right now. You said we are local, we're doing big business. You are literally competing again, and this is again in the universities, you're competing with Sonic, you're competing with Smoothie King, you're competing with Panda Express, Einstein Brothers, and and you don't feel small, right? And you're right at their level, and that is so good to see that you can be on the same stage as a lot of these, corporate chains. And so you're right. You are the CXO of, creating those experiences, especially for students. And it'd be interesting to see. I don't know if they do surveys and stuff on, on the food experience, but I'm sure you guys would literally score really high. And so talk to us about this picture and where it is. It says LSU Student Union. And how do you do it? Like, it's again, you're competing against these chains that have the revenue. Also, talk about how, we do have to kind of mentally prepare for a lot of these opportunities in terms of cash flow, right? You have these chains that some have really unlimited funds to carry them through if something, does happen. And how, do you ask for net 30 from your vendors. How do the universities pay you out? I know you said that they take a percentage. How often do they release that money to you? Because those are a few things that a lot of business owners should be thinking about as well when you're wanting to expand into stadiums and into universities.
That's the perfect question that I would love to tag on to the earlier question on like the challenges. And the challenge was cash flow. We didn't have a standalone brick and mortar where we were making income every day. And so when we had our first run in at our first contract, alongside a lot of local vendors, we're like, hey, where's our check? Like, we got a few more games coming up. And thankfully we had like a line of credit that helped hold us over, but it lit fire under us of saying like, it may say net 15, but what happens if it's net 18, net 20? And that's the real reality of like that keeps a lot of local vendors out, or I would say small vendors, is cash flow. If you're expecting a 8, 9, 5-figure check, and then you have to keep service running, it can really take a dent on what your quality of service, your efficiency, or the ability to operate. And so I've seen vendors close because of cash flow. And so that is like, that's a worst fear. I just can't let it happen. Like, we just have to stay mindful of our numbers. And one of the reasons why we were in the program is that we were making money, but we didn't have the knowledge and skills, the tangibles of like forcing a cash flow analysis. Until we were in it, we're like, oh wait, there's another layer to this that will help us. Now that we've done this the first year, we now know what to expect. Now we know where our expenses will be. We know how much cash we need to hold over. We also know that we need to make sure our partners understand we love being here, but we have to have an understanding on our payment terms. And so thankfully, with two of my institutions, we have net 15, which is fine now because you're healthy, you're on a rhythm. And then the other will be net 7, which will be perfect because I know that on that net 7, I've never had an issue with them. They're going to pay in a timely manner. But it does make us still sit back and say, that money is not here yet. It's incoming with the money we have on reserve. We're so mindful now because we know when your cash flow, like you hit that, I call it the cash flow wall. That's fundamental. That's whether or not you can provide a service. The one thing I would never want to do is have to cancel an event because I didn't have enough cash flow, or tailor ingredients because I can't afford the normal product that we have. So I would say central to understanding, wrapping up all that insurance is cash flow. You do not get paid the same day unless you're doing a catering event with probably like a department. Most of our state partners that we do contract work with, you're going to get paid after delivery. So I always know that now if I deliver to the state agency, it's probably 1 to 2 days if they're going to pay by purchase card. Now, if they are going to pay by mail, I'm still looking at 2 to 3 weeks. So ask questions on the front end because you might talk to Sally one day and then Sally's out and then Sally's boss is like, oh, well, we prefer to mail a check. Then I have to go and say, well, can you please pay by card? No, like they have the option.
Right. Do you take deposits for some of those, or is their policy cash on delivery or payment upon delivery?
All state agencies here with like even at Baton Rouge Community College, if we have a catering event for let's say the English department, I can't get paid until after delivery. And so then I have to, someone's in their office and like if it's Friday afternoon, I hope that they're like, okay, click. So that is very important. We're not getting paid every day, which is different from we went from cash flow every day of like, okay, we got paid from this event on the food truck. Now we're going to reinvest it here. We're going to separate this and go pay our bills versus like, you may not see that event payment for about a week or maybe 2 or maybe 30 days. That's a long time. And these are high volume events.
Right. So my next question is, do you negotiate with your vendors that you get your food inventory from? Are they net 30 or more?
So I have net 15 and then a net 30, which
Okay.
helps, right? And then
Yeah.
that's part of like the relationship because we tell them like these are my clients, this is how I'm gonna get paid. But it
Right.
also helps us, it incentivizes us to make sure that we have the right delivery days. You don't
Right.
want to order too early. You have to
Hmm.
talk to them like, hey, if the game is on Saturday, I don't need this until Thursday because prep
Right.
starts Thursday. So the clock starts ticking when you get that delivery. So the
Right.
timing is important. Communication is important. I don't hesitate to pick up the phone or email. And one of the things that I had to learn was I still remember being nervous in the first invoice, like, are they gonna pay this? Are they? Once
It's
you
like $13,000.
I'm
Crap.
like, and then they're like, yeah, I'm like, oh wow, this is great, this is fun. Now when the QuickBooks reminder says, you know, you have this outstanding invoice, sometimes it's a gentle nudge. So for
Mhm.
example, yesterday we delivered to a state agency and I knew that they normally pay by purchase card. And so I said, let me just give them a gentle call to follow up and see how the service went, if they had any questions. Of
Yeah.
course, she gave us good feedback, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I am going to pay by the end of the day, right?" And so
Yes.
I'm calling to get feedback, but I'm really calling to say, "Hey, I sent this 2 days ago.
2 days ago. Yeah.
So don't sit on your invoices because sometimes it's a matter of like oversight." I've
Right.
called our global food service partners and called the main headquarters and said, "Hey, just want to check upon the payment of the status of this invoice." Guess
Right.
what? The next day, then you get the remittance of saying your payment is done, like, or they're
Um,
sending it. So you have to follow up. Don't sit on invoices. That was the one mistake I made of just like, well, I know they're gonna pay. No, I
mhm. Nope. 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 Show me the money.
owe me the money, so we can come back.
So speaking of showing you the money, one way, of course, to diversify your revenue streams, right? And a lot of people ask us, well, how do I sell products, right? I'm great at the food, but how do I bring in more revenue? And this was a lesson learned too during the pandemic. A lot of restaurateurs and chefs started doing packaged goods, and so and getting retail ready. We know that you have this lovely thing right here. How did you get Tre Street Sauce retail ready, and what advice do you have for those first time first time entrepreneurs that want to get into packaged foods and manufacturing this? Do you guys manufacture it in house? Do you guys send it off somewhere? Um, and then, because this is one of your very popular items, right?
Right. So this has been a long time coming. As the label says, 2022, but of course we start selling this on day one with the street burger. And
Uh-huh.
so it's really just was a matter of a conversation with another vendor that had product. One was selling gelato and our other friend in business was selling lemonade. And they said, hey, you know, LSU has an ag center that helps manufacture products. And we're like, oh,
Ooh,
let's look into it. Went toward the building, phenomenal program. You have manufacturing space and they help you test your product. So for $150, we took a sample of Tre Street sauce. They helped us with the nutritional label, the shelf
what?
life, pH testing, and then we did a series of test runs on the equipment to make sure we got the yield correct. And so these are low cost options to just even see if it's something you want to do, that I'm thankful for, because CPG is costly. It
It
does.
is.
You're working on food. We're trying to make money in this lane, and then you want to add a product. So
Yeah.
it took some time to get here. And so working with LSU, which I believe across the country, I know they have a program where we had to get certified in acidified foods out of North Carolina. Usually
Uh-huh.
these college institutions have an ag center, and more than likely those are places you can go to get low cost assistance from the scientists, the nutritionists, to
Yes.
get help with your label, your testing, to see if this is a space, or at least to get your product accurately labeled to make sure that you have your nutrition facts and then shelf life and all of that. So that's how we initially got started to even have the certification to have a product. Then again, cash flow. We didn't have a lot of money at the time to go put in the money, the marketing behind it and whatnot. So our product sat a little bit. And then we were able to get a grant with Amazon's Black Accelerator program, where it was designed to have a one-to-one coach to help you understand e-commerce a little bit to get your product onto the Amazon platform. And so we did some trial runs through there, learned the headache about prime shipping versus dish shipping and and so
girl, that's a whole other masterclass for
it's
sure.
a masterclass. And so me, I don't hesitate. Tre doesn't hesitate. We're continuous learners, and there are programs. There are established networks to learn all about CPG. So this is where our focus is now. And so most recently, last week, we went in because now we have a wholesale price. We understand the numbers behind it, because I think a lot of people like myself, you could be passionate about food, you could be passionate about your product, you have sales, but do you have the data behind it? Do you understand broker fees? Do you understand how products move in the marketplace? How long you have to be on the shelf, or you're fighting with shelf space? It was a lot, and I got overwhelmed, and I was like, I got to call some people. Remember, Karina, I was like, what is this? And now I know what co-packing means. And so all that to say, now where our product sits is that we landed our first retailer in the last week. We did a pitch with Parodies and the Baton Rouge Metropolitan Airport. And so we're onboarding now as a vendor, and then we're gonna start selling our product post clearance, because we have a glass bottle. Something I found out that if you have glass, you have to go beyond security. If you have plastic, you can go pre-security or post-security.
Oh, so you have to go beyond security because it's glass.
And so this is our first. Yeah, because security, I'm like, these are things you don't know until you're in it. But I was prepared for that pitch because of the relationships we have. We've been studying our product, and because of the traction we have, they're like, okay, well, we believe that, we like your product. We would love to have you in. And so this is going to be our first pilot of not selling it online, but having a retail placement and seeing how it does. So from now, it's like, how do we market our product? And those are some of the things we're working on now, is that you got to bring people in to buy. So having marketing dollars, and that takes time. And, we're like in the pots. And so now we want to be a TikTok influencer, and then I got to do this and I got to ship this. But for us, we believe that if these clients and our customers love our meals, we believe that we can supply what's behind it. And so this is an opportunity to have more passive income of rolling out Occasion Alfredo, Tre Street sauce, all-purpose seasoning. Everything that he does is house-made. We believe it should be bottled, and it should be able to be shipped nationwide so people can have a taste of Tre's at home. So I'm excited about it.
So I'm excited for it. That's amazing. I mean, this is brand new news to me about the airport and getting all this done. That's amazing. So I'm gonna pivot, and actually, I don't even need to pivot. It all goes into the same thought process, right? You cannot expect to get all of these opportunities on your own. No. And one thing that I really do admire about you and your grit and your resilience is those making the decision to say to yourself, 1, I need help. 2, who can I partner with? 3, looking for ways to put your brand out there, right? And in doing that, I know that you've participated in a lot of accelerator programs because you want to grow as a person, as a business owner. So talk to us about relationships and business programs and organizations that you've participated in and the value that brings to you and your business.
I believe I'm the way I am with reaching out is because I was a community organizer. So I don't believe you can really do anything alone. So I'm used to creating networks of opportunity where you can grow together for a specific cause. I would say, so the accelerators that have helped us the most when we realized hey, we started a business, but we really don't know.
Where do we go from here? Yeah.
This is a lot. All that comes with building out the food truck and understanding compliance and buying the wrong piece of equipment, and then your inspector says no, you got to move this. We're like, okay, we're going to lose money until we sit down and say, who knows about this? And so at the time, we joined Scale Up Louisiana. And that was sponsored by the Urban League. And I forgot the other main sponsor. And that was all about the foundations of running a business, from having your certifications, your having a lawyer, having a LLC that is having an operating agreement, because there's two of us. And so through that experience, it really pivoted, because we started that program in 2021, about a year after we launched. And we were like, oh, we don't have this. They don't have this. It was like, oh, this is a lot. But slowly but surely, we got the lawyer. They got us the operating agreement that people still call, and we have to share it today. And I think that helped settle, like, okay, there's a lot we still don't know. But because we were in this program, we were able to have a steady footing that helps us get closer to our goal. And so then when we started doing bigger business, we see the opportunity to join the Feed the Soul Foundation's cohort. And I put that on our vision of like, we got to get in there, because they're doing the next stage of things that we want to do. And one of the things that we were not mindful of were our numbers. We were using Excel sheets from where we first started, when, you document, you spent this much on a tire or this. Right. And I remember you all required 3 years, and it was itemized. And I said, Mom, and my mom is an accountant, but I'm not a numbers girly. I said, Mom, what is this? How do I do this? And she was like, Kristen, how don't you know this? I said, I don't know what I don't know. And then taking the time, working with her, cleaning up our documents, showed me that we're missing something here that could cripple us if we don't get it together. So of course we submitted, hope that we got in, and you were honest with us in our interview. And I'm not ashamed, y'all. She said, I saw what y'all submitted. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, this is what we submitted. We know we need to learn how to have like that itemized reporting. And so now, thankfully, because of the program and what we learned, we now have a CPA, and we have a bookkeeper who's cleaning our books and making sure that we understand tax liability. 5 years ago, maybe I would have thought maybe one day we'll have that, or I thought maybe that's just something we can figure out around tax time. No, without having those numbers, when a lender, when you want to pursue a lender, these are all the things that they're asking. So I'm never a person of like, I'm mad that a bank won't approve me. Am I bankable? So if I start with that, then I know that there's things that I have to do. There's things we have to do differently to be bankable. I know it's easy to get mad at the banks because there are some systemic issues. I'm very aware of that. Also, accountability, and said, would we fund us? Yeah, you can see tracking, but the numbers and having your paperwork together was like one of the mind shifts that we had in the program, of like, business is a lot, from customer acquisition to all these things. But like, if you need help, I tell people there's a lot of help that is out there. Don't be ashamed. Like, get the help you need so that you can grow. And for me, now that we're like, okay, we need to attract angel investors. That's one of the reasons why we applied, for Black Ambition. Knowing that most people are all tech, right? We're like, do we need to create an app? Of course not. This is
the Pharrell one, right?
This is the Pharrell's Black Ambition, and most of them are all full force CPG tech. And so for me, like, I no longer moving in fear. Why not? Just shoot our shot. This is who we are. This is what we do. This is how we believe we're ambitious. And now I'm able to learn more about venture capital and angel investing, because I know that we're at a certain point where we're going to have to bring in someone, or, share some equity, because you see who we're competing against. They have $1 million. We want branded boxes too. We want the bells and whistles to be able to scale and go across different campuses. So I want to have the language, like you taught me. You got to have the language to want to understand, and then be able to have the conversation and knowledge. So I never forgot that on our call, and it's just something that we have on our strategic plan, where we have a contact list or relationships. And so we have you and others all on a list of like, this is the person we can call when we have a question about X, Y, and Z. And it's just a reminder that we have our kitchen cabinet. So days when we feel like we're alone and, oh my gosh, how are we going to do this? We can call and say, hey, we've stumbled here. Can you help me here? And thankfully, you all answer the phone, and we're grateful for it because, we're going to listen and try to act on whatever we discuss. So pick up the phone. Do
Yep.
not be afraid. Do not be
That's
afraid to pick
why
up the
we're
phone.
here. Yep. So what's on the screen? Because these partnerships are important, right? Because they see you, they see the value that you bring to the community, and then you get rewarded for that. Tell us what this picture represents.
This was an amazing game-changing surprise. This is at our Southern University location where they had a ceremony for us with SGA and leadership across campus for the Aramark Best of Growth Award. Only 16 companies across the nation got an award for Best of 2024, and we
Nice.
were one of them. And to this day, I think the awards are in their third, fourth year. We're the only company ever named in Louisiana. This was such a big deal. Aramark is global.
Yep.
And then to have the leaders thank us and just show some appreciation, it catapulted us to say, like, hey, this is a partner that we want to grow with. And so now we have the opportunity this fall to do concessions, and that would be new for us at this company. And so again, we're very thankful, but we didn't stop working, and we were clear, like, we want to grow within your organization. So I would say it's a great testament. Leverage your partners, leverage your awards, but don't stop working. And it's okay to work with different companies. They are, I mean, Chick-fil-A is at every major global food service giant. Like, we just want to have a great relationship with whoever we're working with, and no one is better than the other, because we're going to do our best to tailor our services that are needed for that particular client. And that's what attitude I have in mind of, like, no, like, we're going to do our best for what they need. And so, yeah, it was a big deal. It was big. It was exciting. Everyone was like, it's an honor. I know what we look like, and I know the extra weight that comes with it. Especially working with corporate partners. You hear about people work 9 to 5 corporate America and what they have to deal with. And so for us, we're trying to make sure that we're our best selves by staying healthy and whole. But there is a different expectation. So even in our industry, like, we have to just be mindful of what's behind our services as much as we are in what's in front of our services, the food and things that we deliver, to make sure we're ready for these opportunities and have the chance to grow.
Yes. And more recognition. This was this last year or this year?
This was June, just June. Yeah. We were finalists as the for the 2025 Small Business of the Year award, named after Ernest N. Dutch Morial, who was the first African-American mayor of the city of New Orleans. His son is the president of Urban League National, also a former mayor. And so we were there that day. And you're finalists, you don't know if you're gonna win. And I'm biting my nails, and Tre's just calm like this. I'm like, champagne. Are you okay? I said, I'm just nervous. But I kept saying, to be in the room, to be considered was already a win. But when they called our name, we were both like crybabies, because one of the Morial family members hugged us and said, we understand that this work is a labor of love. And that just tore my heart to pieces, because it is a labor of love. And sometimes it is going to be thankless. And we're in an era now where you get more clicks for being negative. It takes a lot of energy to do a positive review than it does a negative sometimes. So we were just thrilled, and we said, like, the honor of being on that stage, we don't take it for granted. And so that's why we're preparing that mentally to continue to level up, so that we can show what is possible and what it takes to really leverage these partnerships and grow the way that we aspire to grow.
And they did this video, right, of you all as well.
So they did this video prior to, they had all of us come in and just ask us some questions about the business and what it felt like and what our aspirations were. And we were so happy, because guess what? we have a marketing tool now.
I was gonna say, look at this. This is amazing. It
Yeah,
shows
we
every
did a good
aspect
job.
of your business, shows the food truck, shows the universities, shows the
It shows
food. It
the
has both.
story, a snippet
Yeah,
of the story.
yeah,
And it was great. It's an honor because most people don't know it, but we're a second chance company. We one of our founders is Second Chance, and when you think about the opportunities to do the business that
yep.
we're doing, it doesn't come around every day, which is why we move the way that we move. It's important to
And and your husband has a fascinating story of, going from nobody wants to touch you to now being someone that everybody wants to do business with, and I know his story is very fascinating. But I want to circle back to you and the relationships that you have established. And one important thing that I want those that are listening to take away from is there's a lot to building these relationships, but really, what is the most standing and powerful thing is the art of the follow up. And you are the queen of the follow up. So tell us, yeah, exactly. So tell us in a couple of sentences why following up with, whether it's a partner, whether it's a potential corporate um, individual, why is it so important that, because we can meet people and network all day every day, right, and we exchange cards and, oh, this is a great opportunity, but as a business owner you have to take that extra step. So talk to me about what you do in your strategies to follow up with individuals, and how you've really, a lot of these opportunities wouldn't have happened without taking that an extra step of following up.
I agree. I think these are one of the art of the follow up is a skill that I learned through leadership development and also like working with high school students, where you'll come across people who say, "Oh, I met someone
Right.
that like they wanted them to be the mentor," and then they say, "Well, they didn't hit me back," and I say, "Well, give them 72 hours and follow up again." And so
Yeah.
what I would notice is that if I met someone and they said, "I'm interested in learning more," and okay, let's just say for example, where I'm at a mixer from 6 to 8, and I meet someone and they're like, I'm interested in learning more. Here's my card.
Right.
More than likely, while I'm in the parking lot, I turn on my hotspot and I'm emailing them from my laptop of saying, "Hey, just met you. Love
Right.
what you said. Would be interested in meeting to follow up or whatnot." And that has done wonders because one, you have to stay on people's mind. And so while the energy is there, I'm going to follow up. Excuse
Right.
me. Or I will tell them I will expect the email in the morning. And so I'm already crafting it that night, and it's going to
Right.
hit their inbox scheduled at 7 or 8 a.m. So that's the first thing they see in the morning. And people do appreciate that. I heard recently when we were doing our pitch at the airport and another partner was there and they said, "These people, like they will follow up. Like if you
Yes,
tell them
they're
something,
serious.
they're
Yep.
going to do it." And for me, that's important to keep these relationships warm because you
Right.
can't expect someone to remember you if they met 50 people, but also they're trying to see how bad you might want it or
Mhm.
if you're serious. And so if I follow up and I send you my capability statement, it means I'm serious. And then if I don't hear from you, I normally will follow up again, gentle nudge, or I'll call someone that knows them and say, "Hey, I'm just interested in like getting to meet them," or I didn't hear back. And then more than likely we will converge at another meeting and then it'll move the conversation forward. But you have to follow up. Do not be discouraged if someone doesn't answer. I've had people not answer and then later you'll get a call, right?
Yeah.
So even if they didn't
And then
respond,
they'll apologize. Hey, it got lost in my emails. I mean, we know this, right?
"Let me
We
call
have,
you. I'm
yeah,
here. I'm available." Yeah, it
right.
happens. It's
Yep.
natural. But
Yeah.
I would say while you have the urgency and it's right there in front of you, don't wait a couple days. I've seen people say, "Oh, well, I'm gonna call them next week." Why? Someone else is emailing them in
Yep.
real time. You
And
cut them
someone
off.
else is going to take that opportunity, and someone else is going to get that, contract. Yeah, no,
Exactly. Somebody's always outworking someone. You just want to make sure that you are doing what you need to do to move your brand and business forward. So it's been things I've applied to, didn't get in. I'm gonna apply again next year, give it my best if it still fits the needs of where I'm at now. But I love following up. It's because, and then we live in a world where a lot of things are moved online, and you, like you said, you can get lost in it. Pick up the phone too. Picking up the phone still works.
Yes,
Hey,
it does.
hello, how are you? This is Kristen
Still
calling.
have phones. Yes.
And another thing, be nice to people at the front office. Most of our clients, for corporate clients, are secretaries that are tasked with catering orders. And the number one thing that they don't want is to hear everyone say, "Oh, Betsy, this is horrible. Like, I wanted this much." And they want to feel good that they've done something for the staff. And if you're in good with them, you're in for a lifetime. So treat everybody with respect, because they have a direct line to the CEO and senior leaders. When they're thinking about lunch, you want that person to say, "I feel good calling them."
Yeah,
exactly.
You're front of mind. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I thank people. I thank them as well. Like, that's following up, like finding out you got a client. I will say thank you for booking with us. Thank you. Thank you. If there's anything that you need, don't hesitate to reach out. And I just try to make sure we're available. So you have that line of communication for feedback, but also appreciation and gratitude goes a long way.
Long way. Yeah. And where we are available for your next catering, and and then send them emails too when you change your menu and you have something new to offer, that also goes a long way as well. So I know we're kind of out of time, but lastly, for culinary entrepreneurs that are watching this, right, and who wants to land their first big contract, whether it's with a university or a stadium, right? What are the first 2 to 3 steps that they should take from the session that you kind of recommend? 2 to 3 steps. Well, let's go 3 steps. What are the first 3 steps that they should start thinking about, or moves that they should start making in order to secure some of these contracts with universities or stadiums?
The number one step I would encourage is to do your research. Who is the contractor? Are they the prime? Which company? Like, find out who's there, who holds that contract. And then when you're thinking about a university, who else is serving food in that camp, on that campus, outside of the union? If you're thinking of, let's say, LSU, who's in the union, who's outside the union? And then think about your brand and see what value add you bring that is missing.
Got it.
Start there, because then you can say, well, we know students are lacking chef-driven, high-quality food that reminds them of home. You have X, Y, and Z, and students want a local choice. Then you can tailor your services to that particular client. Do not do a blanket one-size-fits-all. Every campus is different. Every corporate partner is different. But if you're talking just universities, see if there's a prime contractor. If there's no prime contractor in like the scenario we have where we're the prime, do research on what it takes to actually be the prime. What kind of insurance would it take? How much staff would you need? What are your capabilities right now? What are the capabilities you would need to grow into? But I'm a big researcher. I know our competitors. I look at what they're doing. What are they not doing? What can we do better? I look at those that are out of our league and say, well, they have a lot of branded boxes. They have this. Now I know what I would want our brand to grow into, to be that fast casual franchising brand. So I'm constantly researching. I'm researching every day on something, whether it's how to get business funding, how to attract brand awareness, anything. Just do some research. Don't go into anything blind, because if you're researching, you can power map. Who's in charge of signing off?
You're gonna have to teach us a power map class.
I used to do that with leadership development around civic engagement. one of my favorite activities, because if you know the power source, then you know how to leverage and find out who that person is to get some of that acquiesce some of that power or whatnot. So my biggest example of, like, if I'm looking at, let's say Grambling is on my list. Who do they have? I know Sodexo is their prime contractor. Who's their general manager? Who's the president? Who's their food service director? What upcoming events may they be in the room that I need to strategically find my way there? And who else may I need to introduce me and give me a warm introduction to send an email on my behalf and be prepared to pick up the phone? If you know who's who, you will be prepared to know how to tailor your messaging and who you would need to talk to about what are their needs, and then come back and say, I think I have a proposal for you. And then take a day or two and say, send that email and say, here's what I can offer your company. Here's how I can make sure that you have increased student engagement around high quality food services. And some of their surveys are online. So
I was going to tell you, so because you mentioned something about kind of doing the research on the manager, the food service manager. That's all on LinkedIn, right?
It is.
LinkedIn, on their website, like everything is there. You just have to, like you said, that is a step. You just have to look, and then be in the rooms that they're in, because they do. And I tell all business owners, network with chambers. Network. If you cannot afford a membership, try to see if someone else has a membership that they can invite you. They host free events as well. Get in the rooms of these individuals, or pick up the phone, right? Also, the picking up the phone works too. Hey, I am so and so. I have a food truck. We're growing and da 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 da. What type of events are you guys hosting? Would love to attend. Easy.
I like that you said that, because going through the audit in the program, we were like, oh, they said most our Instagram looked more like a LinkedIn. At the time, we didn't have LinkedIn. And then after you all session, we, guess what? The same day created a LinkedIn. And that is changing the game, because that is where you'll find the people in food service. So we follow all the major food service players, from healthcare to higher education, and then we're seeing their status updates and who they're now. I'm now at the University of Miami, or like we'll use their data on what students like, global flavors. Okay, that's research we didn't have to pay for. That's what they're paying for. And
free information.
Right, win-win. So please, if you're out there and you're listening and you want to do any contracting work, or just even if you're not doing contracts, get on LinkedIn. It's a whole nother ballpark. And like you said, it's worked in real time. We met someone from Sodexo, and I had added them maybe because someone said, hey, this is the general manager for our campus. And so I looked them up, emailed, didn't respond, emailed again, no response. And then he's seen Tre at campus and was like, oh yeah, I heard of you. And I'm like, yeah, because he's seen my email.
You saw me.
Maybe next year we'll get a call, but it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes it happens that way, right? You need 2 or 3 different points of contact for them to be like, oh, this is real then, right?
Yeah.
But no, those are okay. So you gave us.
So I said research and power map, definitely the networking, and not networking just as a transactional. Like, it is okay to, like, I pick up the phone. How are you? Like, it's not always transactional. And then when you're working with, let's say, a chamber or anyone, thank people for what they're doing, because I've been in scenarios where I run into people and it's their job to, XYZ help people, and they don't do their job. So when I know people that are going above and beyond, they're doing their job to help us grow, I am deeply thankful, and I'm gracious, because I know that it's just a blessing to have people that care about you and want to see you win. So thank people. It keeps your relationships warm. It keeps people excited. And then I always give people credit. Like, what you've done has helped us. And so what you're doing with the Culinary Business Network is going to help someone else grow, because we're seeing the fruits of our labor from just getting to LinkedIn and getting our CPA that is moving our business forward. So Yeah, and then what that say? Know your numbers. Okay, this is what
Yes.
I will also
This
say. If
this
you're
is the
very
three.
passionate about your food, you're very passionate about what you do you have the data behind it?
Mm,
Know your numbers. Know your numbers, not just in revenue, like what, how much percentage of sales, or like how many street burgers did we sell last year? How many do we forecast to sell this year? Then we say, okay, well, we might need to put more money into marketing. Like until you sit back and move from emotion, that's what we used to do. We love this, we love this, and oh, this is our lived experience. We did it like this last year. And no, we need data because all the big companies move on data, whether it's surveys, whether it's retention, everything is tracked. We can start doing that too. And it takes a little while to set up, but the earlier you do it, it makes it a habit. And that
I
is
love
the habits I want to move us forward as a being a data driven company so that I can speak results in
it. Mhm.
numbers because that's what they want to know. How much volume can you move? Like, how are you going to make this company money? So, talk numbers, know your numbers, and it's going to help you stay in business and grow.
I love that. Love that. And you are, girl. You guys are literally winning big off of university contracts and being in stadiums. Um, and my very last question is, and this is just a fun question right now. What is your favorite food or spice or herb or drink that you are hooked on right now?
Ooh, I still love to eat. Would say the last thing that I had that really like changed my perspective around crawfish was Vietnamese flavored crawfish. It was citrusy,
Oh,
ginger. I really love that. And then I've been eating, sneaking around eating crawfish egg rolls. I don't know. I like crispy things. It's not something
yeah.
we sell. I like a lot of cheese, and I just love it. And when
Man,
it's so good.
I have a love-hate relationship with crawfish because it's this little thing. You're only getting this much of like the meat, and then it's
I
like I
know.
did all this work for this. So I
I
love that you said that, but I also love that you said that it. Sorry, it was too funny for me. The Vietnamese style, right, is very different than, let's say, the Creole crawfish that some are very used to. But yeah, the Vietnamese,
I
they
like
they
it.
got it. They throw
It's
down on the crawfish.
it hits you back here like, oh yeah, I love it.
All right, my darling. Well, thank you so much, Kristen, for showing us what is possible, right? When hustle meets strategy, and you really focus on the customer experience, as well as really taking partnerships seriously, because that is the way that we grow as business owners, and that's the way we grow our business. And all the insight and all the gems that you gave us on contracts and building up that brand. And to everyone here, if you want to connect with Kristen and Tre's Kitchen, we are about to put their Instagram handle down below. And again, to everyone here, your culinary creativity can go far beyond a food truck or a kitchen. From campuses to corporate partners, your business can really evolve in ways that you probably should start imagining, and this conversation really proves it. So feel free to drop your questions in the comment section, and if you have not um, joined the Culinary Business Network, remember, for less than $1 a day, you can get unlimited access to industry experts, trainings, on-demand classes, and the like, all at your fingertips. And you could go to feedthesoul.com and go to the Culinary Business Network as well. And I'll put that handle there. And so, Kristen, any final thoughts before we go?
Go forth, do it scared, do it anyway, and then just pick up the phone and don't be afraid to ask for support. There's someone that can help you. There's a resource, a program, but don't be afraid. Just go forth.
Yes. And remember, you are not alone in this journey, because when you thrive, we all thrive. So keep showing up with purpose, passion and people first leadership, because that's the way we can all grow together. So see you all soon. And we will, Kristen, again, thank you so much for helping us and getting all these gems. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.
Bye.